our transformational coaches. Welcome to our Giving Life Others Want channel, where we discuss topics to provide information and support to our viewers to enable you to live better lives. If you like our content, then please comment, because we want to hear from you. And also like, share and subscribe, as this enables us to continue to bring you good content.
And don't forget to click on the notification button so that when we do post content, you will hear about it first.
Indeed. Okay, so I'm really excited about this topic today, and the reason why I'm so excited is because we've spoken about self-awareness.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously the more you get to know yourself, then it's the more you then think, actually, I want to make sure that I'm happy in myself.
Yeah.
I know who I am. I want to make sure that I have the right people around me to ensure that I get where I need to in terms of my purpose and my destiny.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. And that's what we want to dig into today, because I'm not sure about Rose or even you who's listening, but there's been times in my life when I failed to define who those people were.
Yeah.
And it's been disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, had I known, you know, the different types of relationships, then it would enable me to have the right expectation.
Yeah.
So we're going to dig into that today.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I think we need to have, we need to know the difference between a healthy relationship and unhealthy relationship. Because like you say, and for myself, I've had a bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, and to the detriment sometimes of certain situations. But do you know what? Once we know, we definitely know.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing like a situation or a trial to enlighten you.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, that's what life's about. It's about going through your trials, but learning, growing and evolving. If you're not, then you're going to find yourself in cycles with the same outcome and wondering, why am I stuck? You know, when sometimes it just takes us to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
If we don't know, speaking to somebody who's trusted. And that's why we need the right people around us. Because with the right person around us, we can, you know, we can get that honesty, and they can actually share, you know, educate us.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig into it. Let's get. We've got, and I remember just to put it out there, I heard this from TD Jakes, and when I heard this, it brought such clarity, and it really helped me, because I thought, oh my goodness, it's so clear. So we've got the confidant, which is a type of friend. We've got the constituent, and we've got the comrade. Now, the confidant is somebody who's there through the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
They're there
Thick and thin.
for you. Yeah, they're there for you because they love you, they care for you. Yeah, so you're going to have some friends. I mean, tell us a bit more about your experience with a confidant.
When I look and think about a confidant, I think about it draws me back to how God put it. Because I think when God talks about the confidant, he's talking about that person who you have trust in, who's faithful, who is for your well-being. And I think that's really, really important when it comes to a confidant, because you tell them your secrets. You tell them things that are going to happen. You plan things together, and you do quite a lot together. So it's really important to define, to know which friend is it that you've got and who are your confidants. I know from TD Jakes, as you mentioned, when I listened to him, one of the things he said is that confidants, you won't have many of them. And I can tell you now, I only have a few. I only have a few. And I think you only need a few confidants.
True. Very, very true. And I had an experience where, you know, we all have things that come up, trials that come up, and they shock us. And, you know, you're vulnerable. And it's at that stage that you need to know who to call. You know, yes, I've got a relationship with God and I converse with him all the time, but, you know, he said it's good for us to be together in unity. Yeah. So therefore, to make a call and for somebody to actually give an honest opinion, which not only shares love, but also enlightens you and helps you to move forward, is the key to us moving on, because we're not perfect. None of us are. So therefore, because we're on a journey, we're going to encounter things that are going to be challenging, that are going to challenge us, and we need the right people around us.
Yeah, definitely.
So the confidant. Okay. So then we've got the constituent. Now, who is the constituent? The constituent is somebody who is not for you, but for your cause, so for your passion. So we could have something in common, like, oh, I like to sing, that person likes to sing, or a common cause. It could be animal rights, it could be even your religion, it could be anything. But the cause, once that's done, once, not even done, but once somebody else comes along then and can progress them more, they've gone.
Like sometimes it's when you have a constituent and they hear something that sounds a bit better than what you were saying, and I've had that, trust me. And the thing about it is you've built relationship now, and you think that yes, they're for me, you know, come on, we can do this, and then all of a sudden it's like you're yesterday's news, because somebody's come along and they're telling them similar to you, but something slightly different. They're like, hold on a minute, like the salads, and they're off. You know, and you feel hurt. And
that can be quite heartbreaking, because you do have something in common. So, you know, you've got a good ground there, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm building with this person, you know, we've got so much in common, we're going to do so much stuff. And before you know it, they've gone. And this is why, in terms of expectation, it's important to give a relationship time to define itself. Because if you don't give it time, you've rushed in there, you've shared all your business, your secrets, and now you're disappointed. When really it should take time, and we should be, you know, testing out those relationships, giving it time to see, actually, do you deserve to know my secrets, or not even secrets, but to even be in on my development. Like,
you know, you have plans sometimes. You're going to plan to go and do something. Or it might be, and I know for myself, I got a bit caught up in this when I was doing my catering business. And of course, you're coming up with different recipes and whatsoever, and you're excited, so you want to share them. And the next thing I knew, somebody was producing what I thought I would be producing. But that was my fault, because at that time, I was just excited. So, you know, I had the constituents, I was just talking and whatsoever. And there you have it. I was burnt, but I learned, you know.
I like that. I like the fact that you took that responsibility, because sometimes we leave it to other people. Well, they weren't committed to me, and this happened. No, it's your responsibility. Once you love yourself, know who you are, you then know who you want around you. And then you should take that time to test that relationship, because you're taking the responsibility to say, you know, I need to test to see if I can do this with you. You know, I need to test. And this obviously not only friendship, but it goes on to dating too. That's so important. I mean, I'm divorced. I was married for 15 years. And when I look at my mindset and how educated I was when I even decided to get married, I cringe, because I didn't even understand what it actually was to have a healthy relationship. And, you know, it was just like, oh, I just wanted to have a good heart. That's not enough. You should have the same mind in terms of morals, values, you know, what are you doing? What do you want to achieve for the future?
Because you're going to build together.
If you're driven, he needs to be driven. You know, if you love God, he needs to love God. And not just because you do. And this is why we give it time. And we're going to go into that a bit deeper in another session, because that's massive. But it's so important to know yourself. And know yourself through God's eyes, because let's face it, he sees a lot more than we do, and we're still getting there. We're still, I'm what, 30? I'm 38 years old, and I'm still trying to piece together, you know, who am I? I know certain bits, but I'm seeing more and more, and it's all coming together. So it takes time for us to get to know ourselves. So why do we feel that forming relationship we need to rush? Why? You know, it's so important. So I'm going to quickly move on to comrades. So comrades is somebody who is with you because they have the same enemy, common enemy. They're not about you. They don't care about you or your cause. That's not what the connection's about. The connection's built on, we hate that person. So you could be at work,
become a force.
You could be at work and have a manager that you don't like, or colleague. And, you know, lo and behold, now you're talking. And you're like, oh, gosh, same, gets on my nerves as well. But then when that enemy is sacked or anything that happens, now you wonder, this person drifts. And you see him talking to somebody else on another common enemy. And you just think, hang on. And I don't encourage gossiping, no. But we need to understand that there's times when people come into our lives just based on, we don't like, based on that.
A thing or a situation.
Thing that you don't like. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a person, but it could be something that you dislike. COVID. Oh, I hate COVID. But you see that as the restrictions lift now, it's like, oh, so where's the friendship? Where's the connection?
Exactly. Or it could be like the elections. We've just had elections now, and it's which party you're going to go for. Yeah. And two people are saying Conservative and you're saying, I think Labour. And they're like, I'm Labour as well. Come on. And then you're walking with them and everything. But when we don't know the definition of the three, we get a bit mixed up. So we start to pour out in them and thinking, no, they're for this. And then don't realise the election's finished now. And you look and you think, oh, they don't even want to speak to me now. That cause has ended. And it's so important to know so that we don't keep pouring in when we should have ended. Because we need all these in our lives. If you're running businesses, you need constituents. You need people. You need comrades too. You need a mixture. But the thing that we're trying to really enable you to see is that your expectations need to be at the right level, because then that limits the disappointment, and then obviously we know disappointment then can impact on our heart, and our happiness. So we don't want that. So in order to do that, we need to ensure that we have the right boundaries in place for each of these to ensure that we are living better lives intentionally. Educate ourselves. And this is why we're doing this, because this is one thing that enabled us to ensure that we're going to be successful, because we've got the right people around us, the right people feeding into us. It's not just a one-way thing. No. I'm not just draining my friends. No, it's a two-way thing. Giving, taking, give and take. That's healthy. Not just giving, drained, and then you're wondering, hang on, when I'm in need, that person's not there, So expectations is a massive thing. Yeah, and definitely with what you said there. And I think that's where now some people can actually say, I talk to anybody. And the reason why they can say that they talk to anybody, because they have the definitions. They know there's certain things I'm going to tell that comrade, there's certain things I'm going to speak to the constituent about, but there's certain things I'm going to discuss with my confidant. And I think when you have it that way, that's when we can go out into the big, larger world and we can mingle and mix with everybody, because our expectations are in the right place now. Yeah, and we're self-aware. So we know what our own desires are, our own passions. We know who we are. And we know that we are enough. So now, because we know we're enough, we're not desperate. We're not begging and hoping that people like us. And I think sometimes we get into that, the danger of people pleasing. And when you're people pleasing, you're not then focused on being clear about who this person is. You're just trying to make them like you. And let's face it, some people are never going to like you. Not everybody can like you. And I think that was the greatest thing for me when I realised, actually, I'm working so hard, but some people are just not meant to be in my life. Or some people are not going to like me for whatever reason. And that's okay. And I think when we get to that stage where we realise we are enough, and embrace who we are, and be grateful for those few people that are around us. We then don't need the abundance. It's quality over quantity. But it helps you to move on, because it helps you to, in life we should keep it moving. So once we've dealt with certain situations and we realise that, okay, this is my confidant, we can then move through life knowing that as we're moving, we're not going to get caught up where we shouldn't get caught up. And that's why, as you said, self-awareness and this. But you said letting go. You're going to have confidence in specific seasons. But one thing I remember the Lord taught me, and he said, him being my core, it was like, actually, Lord, you decide. Because we don't know. We don't know what we need from day to day, to be fair. God knows our progression. God knows who he's blessing us with. God knows who he's taken away from us. And I think sometimes we're holding on for dear life. I was like that because of the rejection that I experienced from my father in childhood. So for me, I was never enough. I felt like, oh gosh, I need to encourage this person to like me. I need to give so much. And then when I realised my worth and
when I was accepted by God, I realised, hang on, I don't need to do that.
No.
I need to allow things to naturally happen. And if some of us actually look back and have a reflect back, we will know that there were some people in our lives that should have been let go years ago.
Yeah.
But we were like, no, please don't leave. Not seeing how toxic some people can be. Or even just simply, they're not meant to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and we too can be the toxic people. We too can be those people who need to be let go of as well, because we're all at different paces. You know, we're on a journey. So it's important that we...
Sometimes when we're moving along our journey, we don't realise that because we're so held up with what we shouldn't be and those people that we shouldn't be, we actually lose some great people along the way, because we're so blinded by having this comrade or constituent and whatsoever, and we don't see the real picture. That's why I love what you said, that you said God you choose, because the thing about God is we don't know the intents of a person. Now, because we can't see that, God can better guide us. And so that's why it's so important. I know in my life I've had to do this. There's times when I've been friends with somebody and the Lord will say, time to let that go. And it's so important to let go when he says let go, because otherwise you're now going to be in danger.
And trust me,
Yeah.
when you get burnt, when you don't listen to God, because God is always speaking, he loves us. He's a good father. So he's always trying to equip us. He's always trying to say, look, give us, you know, we've got the discernment of spirit. And a lot of us, we want to talk about that a bit later, actually, about the gut, that spiritual discernment is over. But then when people are like, please, I need you, the people please inside would say, okay, well, I'll stick around. But if God is saying to let go, trust him.
Let go.
Because I tell you what, when you get burned, then you're like, okay, Lord, because you don't want it to ever happen again, because it's not nice, okay? So it's so important that we start to be more self-aware, so we can actually tune in and know, actually, some people don't even have to stay in life for too long. There's a funny feeling we get. Oh, I don't know if you've had that before, where somebody's in your presence and you think, not for me, you know. Something's not right. Doesn't mean that person's evil. Just means it's not the right connection for you.
And do you know what came to my mind? Sometimes it's not even a case that it's a stranger. It's somebody who you had in your life. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, something's not quite right. And that's the time when it could be that God's spoken to you and has said, let them go, and you have it, and then that awful thing comes and it's like, wow, I now need to listen to that, because you will know when somebody's for you, you will definitely know, and when they're not, you need to wake up. They're not.
It's so important. It's so important because we're all trying to strive and move forward and progress. We have to be in the right environment. And you know, with certain people, it's not gonna encourage your progression. And sometimes actually, we just move on. You know, we move on. We start doing different things, and that person now doesn't fit that mold. And you know, if you understand the process and the different friendships, then it can actually be quite a nice process to actually think to yourself, you know what, you know, I'm so grateful for that time that I had that person around, but I can see the season's finished. And now let me continue to progress on. It doesn't have to be ugly, but I think it becomes ugly when we fail to let go. And that's really key. So we're hoping that this has really been beneficial for you today. You know, we've looked at the confidant, the constituent, and the comrade. And I really want you to think about who those people are in your life. Reflect, you know, and start to understand who is around you. And who better serves you in different arenas, because that's really important.
And again, put into your journal, you know, write it down so that you can go back and reflect, even as you're going along with your different comrades, constituents and confidants. Write journal, because then you can look back and think, oh, that's when it broke down. Oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. And have a look at what you wrote before.
So we want you to move forward. We want you to be better. So please educate yourself. You know, take what we have said, dig a bit deeper. You know, it's your life and you only have one life. And we want to we want you to live it the best way you can.
Yeah.
And the only way we can do that is by growing, learning and evolving.
Yeah.
So we hope you've been, blessed by this time. And that's from me and Rose.
Yeah, and do give us some feedback, because we love feedback, because that enables us to give you good content and to do things differently if we need to. So we thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, take care.
Take care. Bye.